Here's Brody Brazil.
Andy says, I can count 5 or 6 games where defeat was snatched from the hands of victory. It's sad to think those are the difference between hanging by a microscopic playoff chance to being in the driver's seat. That is absolutely correct. And I mean, this is one of the hardest things to digest and swallow, and it will be by the end of this week on Sunday when they play their last game. And like I said, they'll be just, less than this many games out of a playoff spot. It'll be less than the fingers on my hand. And we're all going to look back at getting swept in Toronto. Like with that first game, remember the A's had a 6-run lead, got blown. Marcus hit a walk-off. Saturday they lose, Sunday they lose. How about 2 games in the Giants series? Hosting San Francisco, the Giants have pinch hit homers on Saturday and Sunday to take late leads in the 8th and 7th and 8th and win the game. How about getting swept in 4 by the Mariners on this last homestand? I mean, this could go on and on. How about getting swept in 4 by the Chicago White Sox? No, they lost 3 of 4, but the game, the series opener, right, was when they lost Bassett, game 1 or 2. But the point being, like, I could name you a dozen games here, and these are all just second half of the season games. I could literally name you a dozen games that they played well in. This is not to take away from them because they were in these games. It's not like they didn't show up. They just didn't finish. And that's not always on the bullpen. There have been plenty of games this year I know we've seen where, the A's will score a run or 2 early, and then that lead holds until the 7th, and then the other team will score 3, and then that's it. It's a 3-2 loss. Like, your bats cannot go to sleep in the 4th or 5th and stop producing the rest of the way. Like, at lower levels of baseball, maybe that can happen, but it just can't happen at this caliber and also at this sequence and this late part of the season. So that is going to be the most frustrating part of the A's season when it's all over, is the fact that they will have come so close, but at the same time, it shouldn't have even been that way. To your point, they should have been in the driver's seat with 7, 8, 9 more wins. I mean, going back, if I say there's a dozen games that they should have had, even if they took half of those, that's 6 more wins. And what did I say? They'll be out of the playoffs by this many or less. 6 is more than 5 or 4 or 3 or 2.5 or whatever.